Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to another episode of NFL Turf Talk. Happy Sunday, everybody. As you can see, we're going to be on a solo show today. Dylan had some prior family engagements he had to attend, so we'll be kicking off the solo Week 5 preview show here. I apologize. I know we're a little late to the stream here, about 15 minutes later. So I'm a dirtbag, so I had the overlaid in this Minnesota Cleveland Browns game. Don't ask me why you would ultimately lay the over in a game between the Minnesota Vikings and the Cleveland Browns. To be fair, I think it is very self-explanatory to an extent. The over was sitting pretty low at 35.5 points. So we are basically, the last time I checked, one score away from covering that over. Nonetheless, happy Sunday, everybody. We're going to start at the top. We're going to start with 1 p.m. games. We're going to preview those matchups. I'll give you my picks on winners. We'll talk about if they cover the spread, any interesting storylines to go along with those matchups. We'll move into the 4 p.m. slate. We'll move into the Sunday Night Football game, and then obviously we'll finish with the Monday Night Football matchup. And then we'll get you guys out of here with the best bets of the weekend. So I'm excited. It's not the greatest slate, but I am excited to be here with you guys as always. We are blessed to have an NFL Sunday. NFL season is the best time of the year. So I'm not going to complain about some of these dirtbag matchups that we have this weekend. A lot of them should be interesting. So let's dive right in, guys. Let's start at the top. 1 p.m. We got the Houston Texans 1-3 visiting the Baltimore Ravens, who are also 1-3. This is an obvious big matchup, especially for this 1 p.m. part of the slate. I think this game and the Eagles and Broncos are the obvious big matchups of the 1 p.m. slate. But when you look at this game, the records don't indicate that, right? 1-3. Martian, good morning, my man. You're gonna have to take that up with Dylan, brother. Good morning, HP. Welcome to the stream. GSW Film Room. Appreciate you guys. I know you're all the way on Golden State on the West Coast side of things, but appreciate you tapping in. And if you guys don't already, head over to that channel, hit the subscribe button if you like Warriors or NBA content. NBA to the Galaxy pod tapping in as well. Appreciate you, Slim, tapping into some NFL content. Head over to that page and hit the subscribe button as well for all NBA content. But that being said, let's get back to the Houston and Baltimore matchup. Houston's a 1.5 point favorite in this one. We got the over sitting at 40.5 points. The big notable storyline for this matchup is fairly obvious. Lamar Jackson's going to be out for this game, and he's going to be out for the foreseeable future with that hamstring injury. But at the end of the day, this is a must-win game for both of these teams. You look at the Ravens side of things, their schedule is not getting any easier after this. And this is a 1-3 Houston team. Like, at the end of the day, that the Baltimore Ravens are playing at home in Baltimore. So Cooper Rush, Lamar Jackson, whatever the case may be, you do need to come out of this game with a W. They need to rely on King Henry, right? He's King Henry. It's Derrick Henry. I know he's had his fumble issues, but you kind of got to get him the ball, especially when Lamar Jackson is out. So, no, I do agree with you there, Marcia. It sucks to be Henry. He's unlucky with his teams. He is unlucky with his teams. Obviously, you just can't do anything about this Lamar Jackson hamstring injury. It's just very, very unlucky. Obviously, he had his time with the Titans, Ryan Tannehill, that whole thing. So, yeah, he's had his unfair share. He's got to get that fumbling issue together, though. I think that's why his carries have been toned down a bit. If you can't trust him to hold on to the ball, you can't give him the ball. So, I think he needs to lock in today. We need to see some beast mode from Derrick Henry, but I think on the other side of the fence, Marcia, and to your point, no Lamar Jackson. This is a sturdy Houston Texans defense. They're going to be locked in on Derrick Henry today, and I don't know if he's going to have a big game like the Ravens will ultimately need to have a chance at winning this one. I have no faith in Cooper Rush to be very, very clear here. It's a must-win game on the other side for the Houston Texans, obviously, even though they're on the road in Baltimore. This is a Lamar Jackson-less Baltimore Ravens team. This is a 1-3 Baltimore Ravens team. This is a Baltimore Ravens team that gave up 37 points to the Kansas City Chiefs offense that has been struggling the entire season. Now, the Chiefs got Xavier Worthy back in that game. Maybe that changed the outlook for them. Maybe that made them look better. But you can't come out and just get dominated like that, especially when the offense was struggling the way it was. I like Houston's defense to kind of hold Baltimore down today, even at home. And I do like the Texans to make some strides offensively against this defense, which, let's just be honest, they just have not been good. Excuse me, let me turn that do not disturb on. Sorry about that. Notifications coming through. Henry ain't been the same since Cooper put him on the ground. Very fair. That would be confidence destroying. What's good, fam? Tapping in. What are you keeping an eye on today, GSW Film Room? Anything over on the West Coast, or what are we keeping our eye on? Maybe the Bills and Pats tonight, something like that. Get my sip of coffee. If you haven't been able to tell, by the way, I've been talking about this game. I'm going with the Houston Texans on the road. I do feel like it's kind of bold just with the way the Texans offense has been playing, but maybe, just maybe, they broke through against the Titans. Maybe, just maybe, they broke through against the Titans. It was 26-0, so I mean, it is the Tennessee Titans. The Titans have struggled. Cam Ward was obviously horrible in that game. But yeah, I like the Houston Texans to make some strides today. When do we talk Eagles? We're going back to back, Martian. It's 12:09 right now. I would say about 12:30, we're going to hop over to Eagles pregame. This will be a quicker episode since I'm riding solo today. So yeah, we're not going to talk Eagles Broncos on this show just because I don't want to double up on content. So if you're interested in the Eagles Broncos matchup, want to talk about that, definitely tap in over on the DSM Media Philadelphia YouTube channel. We'll be live around 12:30. Get into that matchup before it kicks off at 1. Is Cam Ward living up to his billing? It's fair. That's a fair question. I mean, I was gonna wait until the 4 p.m. slate to get into Cam Ward, but you brought it up, Martian. It's so hard to tell. It's so hard to tell because of the lack of talent around Cam Ward on that Tennessee Titans team. We know how important an offensive line can be. We know how important a balanced offense can be running the football. And quite frankly, we know how important weapons on the outside are when it comes to an offense and space in the field. So I can't put all the blame on Cam Ward, but I will say the numbers are incredibly low. The completion percentage is incredibly low. He does need to improve, even with the lack of talent on that roster. We need to see something. They're going against the Arizona Cardinals today. It's in Arizona. I do expect Arizona to take care of business in this game. I think their defense is real. They got some injuries to the running back room, but I think they'll be able to survive that today against a bad Tennessee Titans team. It's a 7.5-point spread. I don't know. Texans just beat the Titans 26-0, so it's definitely possible, but I would probably lean towards Tennessee covering the spread. Arizona hasn't looked that great. I do think they'll win at home, but 8 points is a lot, even for, two bad teams or such. But no, Cam Ward, that is the main takeaway today. I don't really care who wins this game ultimately. Cam Ward needs to show us something, right? He can't come out and have another dismal day today. Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up because that shit is so ridiculously corny. I don't even know if corny is the right word for it. This dude is 24 years old talking about he's lost athleticism. Dog, how about this? This is what I said in the group chat. I think it's funny. I think it's probably the issue just the last few years. After his rookie season, did you see the way he was moving in the offseason? He was with female celebrities, by the way. He's with celebrities down in Houston. We know what Houston does to people. We've seen the James Harden era of Houston. Stay out of the strip clubs, put them wings down, and let's get ourselves into shape, CJ Stroud. I don't think you lost athleticism because you're 24 years old. I think you lost athleticism because you need to lock in mentally and physically off the field. So I appreciate you bringing that up because that is funny as shit. Like I can't believe he said that dumb shit. Yeah, CJ Stroud is a character. Yeah, yeah, bro. Martian, you know how it goes, man. These athletes are something else. I don't understand it, but the fact that CJ Stroud is saying that, maybe he's trying to make an excuse for his poor play the last season and 4 games now that we're into the season. So we'll ultimately see where the Texans go from here. Let's move on, get to the New York Giants and the New Orleans Saints. The only thing I'm looking at in this one, obviously the Giants are visiting the Saints. The Giants are coming off a big win against the Chargers at home in Jackson Dart's debut. Excuse me. I'm just interested to see what Jackson Dart looks like, if he can continue the kind of positive vibe that he brought to the offense of the Giants, the dual threat ability, and just the young, like it's like a culture thing, right? He has a little bit of aura, I guess you would say, and I just like the confidence that the Giants were moving with. Like, I'm an Eagles, you see, I don't actually like it, but from an NFL and football analyst standpoint, I like what the Giants were doing there with Jackson Dart. I felt like it was the right move to put him in ultimately. I kind of like the Giants on the road in this one against the Saints. The Saints are 1.5-point favorites, but they're 0-4. I guess they have to win a game eventually. Like the Saints and the Giants aren't that much quote unquote better, if they're better at all, than the Saints. So I get why the Saints are favored at home. Did the Giants pick up some steam against the Chargers? Could be a big letdown spot too for the Giants as they think they're about to turn the corner with Jackson Dart. I'm gonna go with the Giants. I like Dart over Rattler. I like the Giants front seven over the New Orleans front seven. I'm gonna go with the Giants in this one. It is a weird matchup. Moving on, Dallas and the New York Jets. You got the 1-2-1 Dallas Cowboys. Make that make sense nonetheless. They're coming in as 1.5-point favorites over the 0-4 New York Jets. Obviously, the Jets were playing on Monday Night Football. We got to see them first national scale, right, against the Miami Dolphins. Obviously lose that game. I thought Justin Fields looked good. Garrett Wilson looks good. Maybe Breece Hall doesn't get the ball enough. Justin Fields can use his legs. It's just not coming together for the Jets, man. And they're 0-4 now. They're at home in this one, though. It's interesting, right? And I'm looking at Dak Prescott on the other side here. They're coming off the 40-40 tie against the Packers. Offense looked electric, obviously, at home against what is supposed to be a good to great Packers defense. They also gave up 40 points to the Packers offense. They also were unable to stop Jordan Love through the air. This one's tough for me. I feel like the obvious pick would be the Cowboys, but the Cowboys they always find a way to cowboy. I will say this. This is a good point for the Cowboys to kind of decide what type of team they're going to be this year. Like, are they going to be taken serious with the serious competition in the NFL? Or are they just going to keep going up and down on a roller coaster this season? And what I mean by that is a tie against the Packers, even at home, is a W for the Cowboys. Putting 40 points up against that's a W. Now, you give up the 40, it is what it is. That defense is going to be what it's going to be this season. But you go up to the Meadowlands against the Jets, who are 0-4, coming off a tough loss to the Dolphins. This feels like a lock spot for Dallas, right? It could be a turning point. If they lose this game, they cannot be taken seriously. That's what I ultimately come away with. And it's why I'm ultimately going to go with the Jets. I did pick the Jets in this one at home. I'm interested to see what Justin Fields could do with his legs today against this Dallas Cowboys defense. Love what I've been seeing from Garrett Wilson, obviously. But can the Jets defense, Sauce Gardner and company, step up and get some stops against Dak in this offense of Dallas? I think they do. I think there's just maybe it's just the hater on the Dallas Cowboys in me. Maybe that's what it comes down to. I feel like the Cowboys are always just going to cowboy. They get you up last week, and then they bring you right back down this week. I'm going to go with the Jets at home. I get how funny that might sound. Las Vegas and Indianapolis, I'll go very quickly through this one. The Las Vegas Raiders are not a very fun team to watch, in my opinion. The Colts, they're coming off an obvious tough loss. Their first loss of the season against the Rams. I think that's a fair loss. In the fashion that they lost in, one-score game, wasn't a bad loss. Maybe the Colts really are just a solid football team this year. I like the Colts at home against a most likely Brock Bauer-less Las Vegas Raiders team. Miami at Carolina. We got the 1-3 Dolphins taking on the 1-3 Panthers. Obviously, we saw Tyreek Hill go out with the devastating knee injury. I believe it was a dislocated knee on Monday Night Football. I'd be very surprised if he returns. I don't know. His career, maybe. I don't know. They said it was clean. He got the surgery taken care of all in one swipe. We'll see what's next for Tyreek, but don't love it for that Miami team. Don't love it for Tyreek himself. On the other side, you got Chuba Hubbard, who is also going to be out of this game as well for the Panthers. So they're missing maybe their number one offensive weapon. I will not be watching this game at all. I don't know. Who would you guys pick? I'm curious. Would you pick the Panthers or the Dolphins? I went with the Panthers at home. We'll see what Tua can do without Tyreek. Can Jalen Waddle step up? Malik Washington in that offense. Devon Achane. I guess the Dolphins should win, right? They have the talent, especially offensively. But I don't know. Both of these teams have been weird throughout this season. I'll go with the Panthers at home. Moving on to the 4 p.m. slate. We already touched on Tennessee and Arizona. Ultimately, I did go with the Arizona Cardinals there. Don't know if they cover that spread. 8 points is a lot. Tampa Bay and Seattle. That is one of the bigger matchups in this 4 p.m. slate. You actually got two big matchups in this 4 p.m. slate. I'll move on to the other one after this. But Tampa Bay and Seattle, 2 3-1 teams. You got the Seattle Seahawks, who are 3.5-point favorites. The over and under is set at 44.5. On Tampa Bay's side, you got no Bucky Irvin today and no Mike Evans, amongst others, missing from the lineup. And then on this side of Seattle, they got a pretty beat-up secondary. Julian Love, the safety, is going to be out of this one. Devin Witherspoon, the corner, one of their lockdown corners, is also going to be missing from this matchup. I really, really want to pick Tampa Bay. I feel like Tampa Bay is the better team. End of this season, Tampa Bay will be better than the Seattle Seahawks. Tampa Bay is just way too beat up right now. No Bucky Irving and no Mike Evans, amongst others. I mean, the defense is a bit beat up. Their secondary is a bit beat up. Their top two corners are out. Baker Mayfield's dealing with that biceps injury. He was questionable all week. Looks like he's going to play, but he's hampered. I'm going to go with Seattle at home. I think they're in better shape right now. But like I said, I do think the Bucs win the season as the better team. The other matchup at 4 p.m. that I'm ultimately looking at here is going to be the Washington Commanders and the LA Chargers. The big notable thing here, obviously the Chargers are coming off their first loss of the season at the Meadowlands against the Giants. Jackson Dart in his first start. I think that was an embarrassing loss for the Chargers. Only put up, 18 points in that matchup against the Giants? That is not what you want to see from Justin Herbert in this offense. He turned the ball over multiple times. Omarion Hampton, he was able to get off, but it just didn't even matter because Justin Herbert was turning the ball over. You lose to a very underwhelming New York Giants team last week. Now, you return home against the Washington Commanders team that also lost last weekend against the Atlanta Falcons, but they get Jaden Daniels back, so that's a boost. This matchup's pretty interesting to me because you got the Commanders sitting at 2-2. They need to win this game. You got the Chargers out west. They're trying to stay ahead of the Chiefs, who look like maybe they turned a corner against Baltimore. You got to win this game. No Terry McLaurin on Washington's side. There's just something weird about this game for me, man. The Chargers' offensive line is banged up. Mekhi Becton's questionable with a concussion. They have another starting guard, I believe, who is already ruled it out. You're going to be missing two of your starting offensive linemen most likely in this game. It just feels weird. Jaden Daniels comes back. That obviously makes Washington Commanders a better football team. This is a tough pick for me. I'm going with the Commanders on the road, and it kind of pains me to do that. But I just like the dynamic factor of Jaden Daniels, even against that tough Chargers defense. And I think for some reason, we're going to start to see that old Chargers team come out. If, man, right? Justin Herbert, if, man. He needs to win this game. I think Jaden Daniels, I think he does something special in his return today, and I think they upset the 3-1 Chargers in LA. Last game of the 4 p.m. slate, we got the Detroit Lions 3-1 visiting the 2-2 Cincinnati Bengals. Still no Burrow in this one. Detroit 9.5-point favorites. Detroit has dominated every team they played since they lost to the Green Bay Packers in Week 1. I'm going with Detroit to win this game, and I'm going with them to win this game by a lot. I think that Jake Browning, like whatever we saw against Jacksonville in Week 2 when he subbed in for Burrow, it's not going to happen anymore. Teams have been able to look at the tape on him. They understand it. He's not a good football player, obviously. And when you're missing Joe Burrow, you're not going to be able to beat the top teams in the NFL. That's just the simple facts. So I'll go with Detroit to cover the spread there. Moving on to Sunday Night Football, guys. We got a big AFC. Why am I getting confused? AFC, is it East or North? Why am I getting confused there? AFC East, the AFC North. Because it should be the AFC North, but it is the AFC East ultimately. New England and Buffalo. We got the 2-2 Patriots visiting the 4-0 Buffalo Bills. Buffalo 7.5-point favorite going into this one. This is an interesting matchup for me because obviously the Buffalo Bills, I don't know if you guys have taken a look at their schedule. They have just had a ridiculously easy start to the season. Now, this is a Super Bowl contending team, we imagine, with Josh Allen, MVP at the helm. You look across the aisle, though, the New England Patriots, 2-2, Mike Vrabel at the helm. Drake May playing some really good football at the quarterback position. Do the Patriots have a chance of competing with Buffalo this year? Can they compete with Buffalo? They've sturdied up their defensive line just like Mike Vrabel likes it. Maybe they can get after Josh Allen tonight. My only worry with this Pats team, and it's a worry for the entire season, is the lack of weapons for Drake May at his disposal. He just truly does not have a number one option, if we're being honest. But at the same time, to be fair to him, you look at the numbers between Josh Allen and Drake May this season. Josh Allen, 70.2% completion percentage. Drake May, 74%. Josh Allen, 964 passing yards. Drake May, 988 passing yards. Josh Allen, 7 passing TDs. Drake May, 7 passing TDs. Josh Allen, 1 interception. Drake May, 2 interceptions. Josh Allen, 3 rushing touchdowns. Drake May, 2 rushing touchdowns. So the numbers of this far are fairly close. You could argue in some statistics, obviously, Drake May is better. But we obviously know who the better quarterback is in this matchup. My point is just to say that Drake May to start the season is playing at a very high level. We look at Josh Allen across the aisle, maybe leading the way for MVP candidates so far. Drake May's playing up to that level. The record doesn't display the same as the Bills, but it's interesting. Bills 7.5-point favorites in this one. I don't love that. 8 points. It just feels like a lot. They could easily win by 10 plus. Like, I know that. It's the Bills. It's Josh Allen. Am I overthinking this? Do the Bills just cover? I think the Bills win. They're at home. Like I feel like that's obvious. But covering the 8 points, it's interesting. I don't love Buffalo to cover that. I like New England to kind of keep it close to an extent. It's just, does Buffalo pull away with a late tutty to make it double digits? That's what makes it interesting. Ultimately, I'm not laying it either way. I'm not laying Buffalo spread or New England spread. I'll go with Buffalo to win. I do think New England covers, though. Monday Night Football. Let's finish up here. We'll get over to Eagles pregame. Looks like we're actually right on schedule here. We got the Kansas City Chiefs 2-2 visiting the Jacksonville Jaguars at 3-1. KC comes into this one. They're 3.5-point favorites. The over-under set at 45.5 points. You look at Mahomes this season, 939 yards passing, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, 2 rushing touchdowns, a 61% completion percentage. On the other side, Trevor Lawrence, 58% completion percentage, 845 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So Lawrence is obviously turning the ball over a bit more. You look at the Jags' 3 wins this season, the defense has stood tall. The opposing teams in the Jags' 3 wins have averaged about a little over 13.5 points per game. My worry for the Jags is if the Chiefs found themselves on offense against the Baltimore Ravens, if Xavier Worthy is that piece that can kind of open the Chiefs' offense up. Now, they found something in Thornton. He was able to have some success while Xavier Worthy was out. So maybe they're kind of doubling up on explosive weapons out there now. They'll get Rashee Rice back very soon as well. So I do think the Chiefs, if they didn't turn the corner last week, they will soon. This game's in Jacksonville. I want Jacksonville to win this game. I do. I want Jacksonville to be interesting. That's ultimately my motivation behind this. Happy Sunday, Terry. Thank you for tapping in. But Kansas City's going to win, aren't they? They're going to win. They're going to get back to a winning record. They're going to get back on track, and people will start talking about Kansas City again and in the top of the NFL. I do see it. I think Kansas City's going to take this. I just don't think Trevor Lawrence is trustable. I don't think you can trust Trevor Lawrence in that offense to not turn the ball over today. He's got 4 interceptions already. Chiefs defense has been playing very well. I'll go with the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. 3.5 points. Yeah, I like them to cover the spread as well. Would love to see the Jags win this game at home, make the NFL interesting, but I don't have a ton of faith in Trevor Lawrence. Let me get you guys out of here with my best bets very quickly. We'll run through these. I mentioned I think the Giants are going to win that game in New Orleans. I am going to go with the Cam Scatterbo Tutty. Minus 125, the rookie running back. He's obviously physical. I do think the Giants will score some points today. I do like Justin Fields' touchdown. He obviously had an outstanding, like a magnificent rushing touchdown last week against the Miami Dolphins. Was very Michael Vick-like. But I think this week, I think he's going to have some opportunities against that poor Dallas defense. Get in the red zone, make a play with your legs. I like Justin Fields to get in the end zone at plus 115. Going back to that New Orleans, New York game, I do like the over 41.5. I know the Giants held the Chargers down last weekend. I know the Chargers supposed to be better than New Orleans. Games in New Orleans, in the Dome. I do like New Orleans to put up some points. I do think this will be a close game. I like the over 41.5 at minus 115 here. Sorry. Keeping my eye on this Minnesota game. I need one score in this Minnesota game. One score being a field goal for Minnesota to tie, 17-17, then obviously whether it goes to OT, whatever, field goal cashes me out. Now, barring a draw, I need 36 points in this game, to be clear. God, these teams would draw in London, wouldn't they? Let's just get the tying score or the 6 that cashes it out, and then we'll talk from there, but that's what I'm keeping my eye on off the screen here. The over in the Tampa Bay Seattle game, I do think there will be points scored in this game. I think Tampa Bay, they will score some points. Igbuka is obviously a really good piece. Just don't think they'll have enough without Bucky Irvin, without Mike Evans. But we'll see what Rachaad White can do in Bucky Irvin's place. He was the guy before Bucky Irvin, right? But I do like the over in that game at 4 p.m. Another game at 4 p.m., the Washington Commanders and LA Chargers. This is a sprinkle play, but I like Zach Ertz tutty, plus 200. Jaden Daniels returns. Zach Ertz scored in both of the games that Jaden Daniels started in to start the season, weeks 1 and week 2. He's one of Jaden Daniels' favorite targets. No Terry McLaurin today. I do like Zach Ertz to get in the end zone at plus 200. Then finally, I'm into my night with Sunday Night Football, the New England and Buffalo game. I'm going to have some fun in this one. But I'm going with Drake May, 2+ passing tutties at plus 133. I like this game for Drake May to show the world something. I like him to show the world that he is going to be playing some good football as the years go on and they start to add some weapons around him. I like New England over 20.5 points tonight, which I think that's what's sticking in the back of my head as thinking the New England Patriots are going to cover tonight. I like the Patriots over 20.5 points at minus 105. And then finally, just to go back over and give the Buffalo Bills some rightful respect, I am going to go with the Josh Allen tutty. I think he gets in the end zone tonight at minus 125. So that'll round out the best bets. Guys, that's going to be it for this episode of NFL Turf Talk, the Week 5 kickoff show. Head over to DSM Media Philadelphia channel. We're going to get started right away. We're going to go back-to-back. Eagles and Broncos pregame show. I will see you guys over. Thank you for tapping in. Thank you for being involved in the comments. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the NFL Turf Talk YouTube channel. See you guys over on Eagles pregame. Peace, everybody.